Hello, welcome to my video. Let's talk about movie critics. Specifically, does anyone really care what they think? And does their opinion even matter? And what prompted me to make this video was seeing several social media channels and pages post about how Scream 7 has the lowest critic score in the franchise. And I'm just like, okay, are we supposed to care? Especially since the majority of the audience seem to love or enjoy Scream 7. The audience score sits at 78% as of the recording of this video. In other words, once again, there's a major disconnect between the critics and the audience. And also, before I go on, let me make one thing perfectly clear. A critic that doesn't like Scream 7 is different than a fan that doesn't like Scream 7. So if you're just a regular fan that didn't like Scream 7, this video is not about you. So when you hear me talk about why critics don't matter, I'm not talking about you. Fans are fans and they're gonna like whatever they want. This stuff is all subjective anyway. So let's go back to the question I asked at the start of the video. Does the opinion of the critics even matter? My answer is a firm, loud, and resounding no. The critic's opinion does not matter. The overall critic score from Rotten Tomatoes that people are posting, it is trash, it is worthless, and it's actually worth less than a literal Rotten Tomato. Let's remember that movie critics literally have the word critic in their name. They criticize movies for money. They do it for a living. It's their job. They don't watch movies the same way a regular fan does. Us regular fans, we sit down and we become immersed in the movie, while movie critics are taking mental notes of things that they'll discuss in their review. They're not fully immersed in the movie because part of their brain is analyzing the movie. They watch movies the same way a high school student reads a book that they have to do a book report for. So while yes, it's possible for a movie critic to enjoy a movie the same way a high school student can enjoy a book they're doing a book report for, it's still not the same as us regular fans that watch movies without having to worry about writing a movie review later on. Let me give you another reason why the critic score does not matter. They watch every theatrically released movie, or at least as many as possible, but they watch a bunch of them. This includes movies that don't appeal to them. Okay, so for example, let's say that us regular fans, we watch 10 movie trailers, and 3 of those movies interest us. What are we gonna do? Obviously, we're going to watch the 3 movies that interested us, and that's it. There's absolutely no reason to watch the other 7. But on the other side, if a movie critic watches the same 10 movie trailers and only 3 of those movies interest them, they're still going to watch all of them, or most of them at the very least. Why? Because it's their job. In other words, 7 of the 10 movies that they're watching and reviewing are movies that they would have never watched if it wasn't their job. So with that in mind, what are the odds that they're going to give those 7 movies a good review? I mean, just think about it. It's common sense. How many times have you read or watched a review that had the following title? I watched this movie so you don't have to. It's their job. They have to watch movies that don't interest them. Okay, check it out. For example, I watched the trailer for that one movie, Wuthering Heights, and it didn't interest me at all. So you know what I did? I didn't watch it. What a novel concept, I know. And see, that's the thing. Movie critics don't have the luxury of behaving like a normal human being. Now for Scream 7 specifically, I read through quite a few negative movie critic reviews, and you know what several of them had in common? They said the Scream franchise is dead and there hasn't been a good Scream sequel in a long time. In other words, these movie critics fit the description I literally just described. Scream 7 is not a movie that interested them, but they watched it because it's their job. Again, why in the world would anyone trust their opinion of the movie? Their opinion on Scream 7 is worth just as much as my opinion on Wuthering Heights if I had watched it and written a review about it. And let's be real, historically, movie critics haven't shown love to horror movies. Then you have the YouTube side of things. I think you've all seen them. Different channels that have been uploading negative videos about Scream 7 for months now. Then they watched the movie and gave it a negative review. Shocker. Their review is worthless. We know that negative videos get more views than positive videos here on YouTube, so it's obvious that these channels knew and have known for a while now, based on their non-stop negative videos about Scream 7, they have known that the movie didn't appeal to them. For regular human beings, once we realize that a certain movie doesn't appeal to us, what do? We simply don't watch it and we move on with life. It's that simple. But for these channels, they have the temptation to make endless negative videos about that movie. In this example, Scream 7. And why is that? It's because it brings in engagement. It brings in views. It helps the minority become loud and vocal to the point where if you didn't know any better, you'll think you're the strange one for actually liking something that the loud vocal minority dislikes. But do these YouTube critics reviews actually matter? No. They made it clear for weeks leading up to the movie premiere that the movie didn't appeal to them with their non-stop negative videos about that movie. And that's okay. It's their right to not like it. It's their right to make endless negative videos about a movie that doesn't appeal to them. And that's okay. But at the same time, their opinion is worthless. Again, it's like me knowing weeks ahead of time that Wuthering Heights is not a movie that appealed to me, yet I still watched it and told everyone that it sucked. You would think two things about me. First, if I knew ahead of time that the movie didn't appeal to me, why in the world did I even watch it? And second, you would tell me that my opinion doesn't matter. It's like someone that doesn't like eating seafood going into a seafood restaurant, ordering a fish meal, and then telling you it sucks. I'm now gonna go over when a critic's opinion does matter. It matters when you find a movie critic or a movie reviewer that you connect with. When you find a movie critic that seems to like a lot of the movies you like. That's different. Then you can watch their content or read their reviews knowing that you have similar likes and dislikes when it comes to movies. In other words, this Rotten Tomatoes critic score is worthless, it is trash, but finding individual critics and individual reviewers that you align with, that's where it's at. So if there's a movie I'm on the fence about watching, I'll check and see if any of those channels have a spoiler-free review, and I'll check it out and I'll really take their opinion into consideration. But at the end of the day, if there's a movie that really gets my attention, I don't care what anyone says. I'm watching it. Who cares what anyone else thinks? I will form my own opinion. So if you're on the fence about watching Scream 7 because of the Rotten Tomatoes critics crap, just remember that the majority of the audience that has watched it has liked it. Turn off the noise and just go watch it. If you don't like it, cool. If you do like it, cool. It's all subjective, but form your own opinion. If you really want to watch it, go watch it. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Okay, so with all of that in mind, what did I think of Scream 7? Well, I'm not a critic, so I don't have a list of things to go over. I'm just going to say that, yes, I loved it. And I had a fun time at the theater with friends. And at the end of the day, for me, that's what matters. Did I have fun? Yes or no? In this case, yes. I had fun watching Scream 7. I love the music, the cinematography, Ghostface was brutal, and Neve Campbell was incredible. Now, I don't think it was perfect by any stretch of the imagination. For example, I didn't love the killer reveal at the end. And don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it just in case you haven't watched it yet. I just felt the killer reveal was a little underwhelming, but was it enough to ruin the rest of the movie? Not at all. I really enjoyed Scream 7 and I'm going to go watch it again next week. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.